Have you ever felt an inexplicable connection with a stranger, or experienced overwhelming emotions when encountering a new place or object? Memory is indeed a peculiar and enigmatic aspect of human existence. It can sneak out on us like a thief, vivid and haunting, nor disappear without warning, leaving us with an unsettling sense of emptiness. Mythology and folklore across cultures mention the connection between memory and the other world, where souls' memory are erased before they return to the realm of the living. In this episode, we are going to take a glimpse of two distinct mythological traditions, one from the east and another one from the west, each with its water of forgetfulness, where memory takes center stage. Many months ago, my father took the pint-sized me to Haw Par Villa in Singapore. There we enter the 10 Courts of Hell, the theme park's most famous attraction. This concept draws inspiration from Buddhism, Taoism, and folk beliefs, known as 18层地狱, meaning 18 layers of hell or 18 underworld prison. Each court is governed by a king who condemns the dead to specific punishments. The journey began on a boat ride into the belly of a 60-meter-long green and orange dragon. Inside, detailed exhibits depicted the punishments of the afterlife, and complete with eerie sound effects. The dead were said to have entered the Yellow Stream Road called Huangquan Lu after passing from the realm of the living. The boat took us to each court, with terrifying sights like the Mountain of Knives, the tongue extraction, and the hot oil cauldron, etched into our minds forever. It's no wonder I've never dared to cheat on an exam since. After the 9th court, governed by the Yama King Pingden, where the neglect of the old and young led to being crushed under a giant boulder, we enter the last court, the final destination of the soul journey, where samsara, the wheel of reincarnation, is located. This is the court of the Yama King Zhuanlun, which means King of the Turning Wheel, or King of the Reincarnation Wheel, where the soul arrived after atoning for its earthly sin in the previous courts. Here, they receive a final judgment that determines their next destination among the 6 realms of samsara. The most significant feature in this court is perhaps the Naihe Bridge. There's a viewing tower by the entrance of the bridge called Wangxiangtai, where souls take a last glimpse of their loved one in the land of the living before stepping onto the wheel. Beside the Naihe Bridge stands the Sanshan Stone. Some say it was placed there by the mother goddess Nuwa after she repaired the sky with the 5 color stones. Sanshan meaning 3 lives, representing past, present, and future lives. Legend says that gazing upon the stone shows a reflection of one's loved one from 3 lifetimes. Some will pray upon it, whisper the name of their greatest love, wishing to be with them once again in the coming cycle. Under the bridge flows the Wangchuanhe, the river of forget. The foul-smelling river of blood separates the realm of the dead and the living, marking the finish point of Yellow Stream Road and the entrance of the samsara. Guards of the court usher souls one by one from a long queue on the Naihe Bridge, cups at the ready. At the end of the bridge stood a pavilion where Mengpo, the goddess of forgetfulness, one of the most famous figures in mythology, awaits. There she stands, waiting for all, with her ladle containing a soup described as sweet, bitter, acrid, sour, and salty, everything a soul would experience in a lifetime. Commonly known as Meng Po Tang, one must consume the soup before the wheel. Once taken, all memories of past lives are swept into oblivion, turning each person into a clean slate, ready to be reincarnated. Yet some souls, afraid of losing the memories of their loved one forever, and chose not to drink the soup. For their love, they endure 1,000 years of suffering in the river of blood before the next reincarnation. Truly, love knows no bounds. Greco-Roman mythology tells of a similar of the realm below, where the underworld is equally complex. It houses not only Hades and Persephone, but also a pantheon of spirits and deities, including Epheus, Nyx the night, Thanatos the death, Hypnos the sleep, and his 1,000 Oniri offspring. Several rivers are flowing through the realm of Hades, each symbolizing distinct emotions or gods associated with death. The dead are first escorted by Hermes the messenger god to the river Acheron. They are then ferried across by the infamous boatman Charon, son of Erebus and Nyx, who require payment, hence the ancient Greek funeral tradition of placement of a coin on the dead, commonly under their tongue, or beside the vessel that contained their ashes, among other valuables, known as Charon's oboe. Acheron, river of woe, representing deep sadness and pain, served as a gateway to the underworld. A later tradition links the river to the deity of the same name, Acheron, the son of Helios. During the 10-year Titanomachy, the clash between the Titans and the Olympian gods, it is said that he angered Zeus by giving water to the thirsty Titans. As punishment, Zeus turned Acheron into a river and sent him as deep as the sky was high from the earth, making its water black and bitter. Most ancient Greek sources, namely Plato, Pausanias, and Pindar, name Acheron as a river Charon ferries souls across, while some Roman accounts, such as Ovid and Virgil, place Charon in the river Styx. Regardless of which river it is, failure to make the payment resulted in the soul wandering along the bank of Cocytus, the river of lamentation, for all eternity, or the shores of the Styx, the river of hate, for 100 years, as Virgil believes. On the other side of the river, the gates, guarded by the three-headed dog, Cerberus, awaits. The dead then join the queue to be confronted by 3 judges, Rhadamanthus, Minos, and Aeacus, who would then sort into either the fields of punishment, the fields of asphodel, or Elysium. The majority of the souls go to the fields of asphodel, while Elysium is populated mostly by heroes and a few exceptional mortal souls. One river mentioned in many accounts alongside them is Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. Lethe, commonly translated as oblivion and forgetfulness in Greek, the antonym of aletheia, which means truth and unconcealedness. Hesiod's Theogony listed Lethe as the daimona of forgetfulness and the daughter of Eris, the goddess of strife. Aletheia, on the other hand, is a goddess of truth and daughter of Zeus, according to Pindar's Olympic Ode. Note that in Plato's work, Phaedo, he mentioned only 4 rivers in the underworld: Acheron, Styx, Cocytus, and Phliethon, while in Republic, Plato wrote about Lethe, but not as a body of water, but as the plain of Lethe through which the river Amelis, the river of unmindfulness, runs. The same go with Aristophanes, describe Lethe as a plain instead of river. Perhaps they mean drinking from the river of unmindfulness in the plain of oblivion makes you forget. Or maybe I'm just lost in translation. It is in some later Roman accounts the fifth river of the underworld being named as Lethe. The river Lethe flows through the cave of Hypnos. The dwelling of the god of sleep is known to be a place where opium poppies, among other hypnotizing plants, grew abundantly, causing the forgetful oblivion of drowsiness. According to Satius, Lethe border Elysium, separating the paradise realm from the rest of the underworld. Some say a similar blissful realm within the domain of Hades is promised to those in the cult of Demeter, the initiates of the Eleusinian mysteries, with Plato and Socrates amongst them. Details of their ritual are unknown, as the initiates were sworn to secrecy, but that will be a story for another time. The souls heading to the Elysian fields will first drink from this river of forgetfulness. The same is said to apply to those to the fields of asphodel. The memories of their previous lives will then cease to exist. As depressing as it might sound, there's always hope that some might be able to resist the effect of Lethe. The river proved powerless to erase the recollections of a notable figure in Greek mythology, Ephialtes, son of Hermes, and the participants in Argonaut consumed the waters of the river and underwent reincarnations as Euphorbus, Emotius, Pyrrhus, and finally Pythagoras. Despite Lethe's supposed ability to induce forgetfulness, he retained the memories of his past lives and the knowledge accumulated across those incarnations. His exceptional gifts bestow upon him an unyielding memory that even the Lethe could not subdue. Hilton Pass, discovered in the ancient city of Petelia, southern Italy in the 1830s, gave a new perspective. Dated from between 300 to 200 BCE, this passport to the dead, said to be the Orphic tablet, now part of the collection at the British Museum. It's a small gold tablet inscribed in ancient Greek. It instructed the initiate not to consume the water of forgetfulness, but to seek waters flowing from the lake of memory. River number 6 now entered the picture. Mnemosyne, the river of memory. Mnemosyne is also the daughter of Gaia and the mother of the 9 Muses, one of the original 12 Titans who rule over the domain of memory. Pausanias wrote in his description of Greece that those who wish to consult the oracle of Trophonius first need to drink the waters of forgetfulness to make their mind a blank slate. They then had to drink from the water of memory to ensure that they would retain everything they saw and heard in the cave. Both myth mentions have inspired many authors and permeated popular culture since. Chinese stories, movies, and TV shows continue to use the trope of lovers remembering each other after reincarnation due to not drinking the mangpo soup. The same goes with the influence of Lethe and Mnemosyne, from Star Trek and Radiohead to the Sailor Moon manga series. The traces of both rivers can be found everywhere. Rivers are generally prominent features of the other realm, one that forms the border between worlds. Many believe that all rivers flow eventually to the other world, where they then took a mysterious course before returning to our own, bringing impacts from one realm to another. Plato wrote in his Phaedo that all the rivers run through the chasms of Hades, and then they flow back out of it through the earth. The Irish myth held a similar belief, and the heroes could enter the spiritual world when underwater. Well, guess we now know where Nessie has been hiding. It is hard to ignore the profound connections between water, emotions, and the human experience. From the river of sorrow to the river of memory, these mythological waters offer insights into our capacity for emotion and recollection. Is a sip from the water of forgetfulness a blessing or a curse? Is a taste of the river of memory a salvation or the prolonging of suffering? The ultimate question arises: would you choose to forget everything before reincarnation, or would you keep your memories and face the consequences?